So, this one's gonna be about some of my thoughts, and just because I'm so happy, just because at this certain point of time I really do just feel like recording an episode. This is mainly the reason why I'm now recording an episode. There's quite nothing to say actually, it only just feels right for me, I guess. But more after the intro, I guess. More after the goddamn motherfucking intro. It's gotten a habit, I guess. Like, it really got a habit of the whole swearing thing and whatsoever. Maybe I should not be doing that. I don't know. And everything is so bright, it is insane. And I'm quite really not in the middle as I usually am. Really interesting. But yeah, I also hope that you're extremely happy. And if you're not, then I don't know. The thing is, even though you might not be just happy at that point of time, I do not think that it is even something bad, because the last week I have not been that happy the whole week long as I've used to been as well. And the thing is, it shows you something. Those negative emotions and those negative feelings, they show you something. Still, to just because I'm thinking about it, and just because I've also been listening to the Tony Robbins podcast, which is also amazing. Like Akimbo, Tony Robbins, the Gary Vee Audio Experience, and Tim Ferriss podcast. They all are just strictly amazing. They are amazing. There's nothing to be said, but they are amazing. It is insane. Like, they are just great. They're just great. The thing is, I've been listening to the Tony Robbins podcast, and there was a girl. Well, it's actually a woman, and she's also a life coach. And I guess her boyfriend is actually Alex. His first name is Alex. I do not remember his last name, but apparently he's also having, he's a free climber, which means that you do not have any gear, you do not have any ropes or something to secure yourself. You're only climbing without quite nothing. You know what? Just because I thought about it before I started the recording, I was like, yeah, I don't actually know what I'm going to talk about, but maybe there's something that I can show, because I like to show things. I think it is extremely important. Like, I don't know, I just really like it. And now in just a moment, this is something that I've just looked up right before, just because I was searching for a story, and I was like, yeah, maybe there is just some story that I could go through, and that I could just quickly read and whatsoever. But the thing is, finding a good short story, even though they say here on the Huffington Post or HuffPost.com, they say like, okay, yeah, it is just some short stories and these classic stories. And they also say like, okay, this one is 3 minutes long, as you can see. Now I'm clicking on read it here. Now it's gonna load. Yeah, I'm gonna give you all my data. Everything is okay. And now like, I don't know if I'm gonna read, like, there's even a more button here. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to read that and you don't even see the whole one. Like, can I just show you somehow? No, I can't. The thing is, it is definitely not fucking 3 minutes, but it is okay. It is totally fine. I'm gonna link this post or gonna link this article down in the description if you wanna just go through some amazing classical short stories, because they are actually pretty good. But, Alex free climb. The thing is, what he did is actually Alex Honnold, he's called, and he actually free climbed El Capitan, which is insane. Like, there are just a lot of videos on this certain thing or on this certain action, whatever. It is him. Like, he's such a handsome guy. Like, he really is, and he's just such a nice guy as well. Like, he's having a YouTube channel as well, if I remember correctly, and it's just insanely good. Like, the thing is, he's not posting a lot or something, but he's just nice, he just is like, so, I don't know, he's just really successful with what he's doing, definitely, there's no fucking doubt, but he's still so just down to earth, I guess, I think this would just really kinda explain it the best way. Or just, explain it the best way. I think it's a good one. But there you can see Alexander J. Honnold, citation needed. And is there anything like, okay, spouse or something? Education, life and work, big walls. But apparently, maybe there is some picture that I can show you from his climb of El Capitan. But I guess it is him, because it is actually the only person that I know that climbed or wanted to climb El Capitan, and there is no other person. Therefore, I was like, yeah, it just has to be Alex Honnold. I don't remember. But the thing was, as I initially actually wanted to talk about, she's a personal coach or life coach or whatever it is, and I think one of the hardest and the toughest things is to actually apply those things that you tell other people to yourself. Something that I'm seeing as well, like I actually seem to have a solution and seem to have some thoughts for everything, for everything that might be happening to me, might be happening for just, or to other people. But the thing is, if something is happening to me or something is in my mind or I'm not feeling good or whatever, it is really tough. It is really tough to actually do what I always talk about. It is extremely tough. And it was just amazing to see that, life coaches also seem to be struggling with that. And it seems to be just somehow a normal thing. Like, everybody seems to struggle with helping themselves. And I also believe, because I've read it in an article, that helping other people is actually way easier, than helping yourself. Just because it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just our framework. Maybe it's just our brain that says like, okay, helping others is easy, and helping others is essential, which I definitely believe. I've been talking about it before. I totally believe that we are meant to help other people. We are meant to do that. And we are meant to be in groups and we are meant to whatsoever. I deeply believe in that, because it would just make sense, I still believe that we would all have died, back in the days when we were cavemans, if we wouldn't have such a social kind of implementation in our brain or whatever it is. I actually don't know. Thing is, it's actually pretty interesting. And the Tony Robbins podcast is actually pretty great. Something that is somehow, and there you can see just to show you here. New York Times has posted it. Then National Geographic's TED. He actually has a TED speech. I'm sorry, didn't know that. Then GQ, North Face as well. And there's just a lot of great videos. You just have to watch them. Maybe I'm going to link something down in the description. Just look for it. If you're on a podcast or if you're on a YouTube video, there might be something down there or not. It depends on how I think about it or if I forget it or not. Fortunately, he's also having a book, apparently. Alone on the Wall. Alone on the Wall. Buy now. It's great. Like, I guess he can live off of what he's doing. And, through his YouTube videos, you can also see, like, by whom he's sponsored and shit like that. Which is also pretty interesting to see, like, okay, I don't know, like, they just really get everything. Like, he's just sponsored by, like, a nutritional company, and he's just getting just a lot of bars and a lot of protein and a lot of supplements, just everything that he needs, apparently. And I think it is just kind of interesting. Like, as I'm right now thinking about it, like, it makes sense. He's a pro athlete, he's sponsored, and there's just a lot of sponsored pro athletes. There's nothing kind of just, I don't know, there's nothing strange about it. Definitely not. But the thing is, like, they're making a lot of money, they're getting sponsored, which means that they do not have to pay anything for just the sponsorship or the products that they're using every single day or that they actually need for doing their sport. So it is, like, pretty interesting. Like, they theoretically do not have to spend any money. Or do they have to? Like, I don't know. Pretty interesting, though. Like, I think you know what I mean. I really believe you know what I mean. But something, just because the funny thing is that I've actually decided to record this episode when I was just in the shower before it was recording that. And I was like, I'm such in a good mood and I'm just really trying. If there's somebody out there who is not in a happy and good mood, and apparently there's a fly in my room and it is a little bit like, pissing me off. The thing is, if there is somebody on this fucking planet, which might be the case, that is not happy and is seeing this fucking video just through some I don't know which reasons. I really hope that this person is then happy, just throughout those 10 minutes or 20 minutes that I'm sitting here, that I'm talking to the certain person, whether it be the podcast or it be the video. This would just be amazing, as I've just imagined it, as I've been thinking about it. But something that I just been thinking about, like as I was talking, is just being the person that is actually positive. Like, there's a lot of people, and I've actually been thinking about it before, but it just popped into my mind just right now. The thing is, there's a lot of people that are relatively negative, I don't know if it is actually being negative to say that people are negative, but I assume and I kind of see and experience that people often are relatively negative. And the thing is, just don't be that person, be the person that is constantly positive, that is happy, and that is actually bringing joy to the other people around you. Like, it must feel amazing, if you truly believe and if you truly know that you are such a kind of person. It must feel amazing. It must be just an amazingly great thing to know that because of you, a lot of people are feeling great, just because of you, just because you're such a positive dude or girl, just because you're so optimistic and you're like, I don't know, like a tornado, you're just actually grabbing everything, and everything is then in your atmosphere of happiness and joy and positivity and optimism. It is just great. And the thing is, everybody on this fucking planet can put out positive content, like something that I'm also trying to do, something that I'm also just trying to do with what I'm doing every single day. Like, it is actually insane thinking about it. I don't even know if anything's gonna work out. Like, at a point in time, like, YouTube is doing somehow well, and the podcast is also doing somehow well, compared to before. It is doing well. Instagram is doing just really shit, and all the other things are like, yeah, it is fine. In general, I would say it is just fine. Like, there's nothing extraordinary, to be honest, and I really don't know if anything's gonna work out as I want it to. Like, I don't know. I still believe that just doing this as my job, sitting here and talking about things that I think about, and then maybe in the end also, I don't know, writing my own articles, just actually interviewing people, which is actually kind of the framework of podcasts, but I've just turned it into something that I can do alone, because I do not want to just be somehow restricted from doing something because I have to wait for another person, or the other person is just not capable of doing it at this point in time where I want to do it. So it's just making it way, way, way more complicated than I wanted to have. And I do just wanted to have something where I first of all can learn something, which is amazing, because this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing every single day, because I wouldn't actually read shit without the podcast. I wouldn't read anything. I'm really not a reader. I really am not, and I've actually never been that way. I've been reading a lot of self-help books just 2 years ago or 1 year ago or something. It's been a great time. It really has been a great time, and I've been also just reading some fictional books and whatsoever. So everybody has read somehow some books just because of school, because I don't know, they got some books as a present or something. Yeah, it is actually something in between. I don't actually know. Like, it is pretty complicated. It is something in between, like, I don't like books and I just really like books. I think it depends on the book. If it is a good book and if I really enjoy reading it, I'm gonna read it, even though I really have to force myself every single time when I'm starting to read it again. Which means, like, okay, on Monday I'm reading, and I really have to force myself to... Oh, there's the fly. Suddenly, it just before was there, and now it is just on my fucking ceiling. Well, yeah, gotta have to get it out of my room without killing it. Like, something that I somehow always try to do. It depends on the creature. It depends on the insect that is in my fucking room. I do not want to have them in my room, just obviously, but I also do not want to try to, I do not want to kill them, like, especially bees and some shit like this, even though they're like, I'm so feared of bees, like, it is insane, and wasps and as well, like, it is insane, but I always try to not hurt them, which is like, well, yeah, I'm trying to not kill them, if I'm hurting them just because I'm kind of pushing them out or something, like, yeah, I try to be a good person with these creatures, even though I guess flies are just kind of worthless, aren't they? Like, okay, they are food. They definitely are food, so they are not worthless. But yeah, just be the person that is so positive and that is optimistic, so that okay, when you look back in your life, that you actually can see like, yeah, that you have been the person that actually brought a lot of happiness to other people, just because you have always been so positive, so optimistic, because you have always been you. And I think have to say that you shouldn't force it. If you're just not a positive person, if you're like just a very realistic person, like, yeah, not everyone is just hyperactive and so energetic and whatsoever, and really so positive all the time that they can bring other people to be positive as well. So I don't know. I think be truthful to yourself and be you. I assume. I guess this is actually, yeah. I think being you and well, unless being you is actually not making you that happy. On the other hand, this could also be the thing. Like, happiness still, like, what is going on now? Interesting. Now it is there somewhere, I guess, I assume. But yeah, the thing is, be happy. I don't know, like, I've really seen, especially throughout the last week, that happiness is actually a really, really important thing. And I also can imagine that, okay, even if you have a lot of money, or even if you make a lot of money through a job, through a really high paid job, you're still not going to be just really, really happy with what you're doing. When what you're doing 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day, if it is a really high demanding job, you're really not going to be happy. And it's really not going to be worth it, actually. It's really not, The thing is, it is tough. I assume that it is tough, especially if, like, you've worked for such a long time that you've just put yourself into such a position that you earn a lot of money. But then you feel like, well, either there's a lot of responsibility that you have to take, or that you're having, or accountability, or whatever it is, or it is just like, okay, up to this point where you've just been in a different position, it's been more fun for you. Now you're making more money, and now everything is like, okay, you are a leader or whatever you are, but it's not making you happy. And I assume that if you can, changing it up is great, even though something that I've also been thinking about today is failing in public. Like, I don't know, like, the thing is, if you buy yourself a really big car, a big ass car because it is cool and whatsoever, and you're looking cool to other people, just because you have that certain logo on your car, and you're feeling good because of it and whatsoever, and then suddenly when, for example, economy is just really a piece of shit, and there's not a lot of money in the system, there's not a lot of money around, and you can't just afford this certain car any longer, and you do just have to compensate it with another one. It's going to be a public L. It's going to be a public failure. People will know, I guess, and people will ask you, like, okay, what happened to your big car? Whether it is like just such a question like, okay, what is with your car? Is it fucked up? Yeah. What is happening? Like, you know what I mean? Like, people actually being happy for you not having your car any longer, basically. This is what I want to say. This is basically what I'm willing to communicate. The thing is that, you then have to say, like, economy is shitty, or you haven't saved enough money, or you can't just afford it any longer. I don't know. I do just believe, it still depends on what community you're in and whatsoever, just different variables there. As always in life, there's so many variables that people are going to notice. You're going to have publicly failed, and you have to deal with it, I guess. And I guess it is fine. Failing is fine. Having that L is fine. It for sure is not really such a nice thing just because it is a public thing. Like, people know whatsoever. Still, on the other hand, why did you have such a car with such a logo that is so expensive? Especially when it is only about looking cool to other people. But the thing is that as I've been also thinking about it today, and it's a really thoughtful day today, or it really was a thoughtful day today. Um, business people that actually look like like really not like business people, which means like, okay, you might be having, I don't know, a really, well, the thing is, if you're having a pretty big company, let's say you have Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't look rich. He really does not look rich, He's wearing the same shirt every day. He's wearing the same fucking shoes and the same fucking trousers every single day. Just because of like he doesn't want to make a decision. If it is still the case, I don't know. Maybe he has changed up his mind. Could be the case. But the thing is, a lot of people in small businesses actually try to communicate to the outside that, at least I believe it, that they have made it. In terms of, okay, they actually have made it and their business is thriving and whatsoever. And the thing is, if you're having to do with clients and shit like this, especially if it is like, I don't know, some corporate job, I somehow understand that it is that you have to wear a suit. I somehow can understand it. But the thing is, it is really hard to communicate what I'm thinking about. The problem there is, often it is the case that those people with small businesses that actually do not have such a lot of money or do not actually make such a lot of money, they're wearing things, or they're just looking to the outside as if they were just having a $1 trillion or $1 billion company. At least I see that, I might be the only one who sees that, but if you see that as well, please write it down in the comments and or hit me up on the social media platform that is the most convenient to you. So Instagram, Facebook, and or Twitter. The best option would actually be Twitter and Instagram, because Facebook is like, I'm not on Facebook. Like, I post there, but I'm actually not on this platform. The thing is, I don't know. I'm seeing it very often. Let's actually... Mark Zuckerberg. You know what? Zuckerberg. I don't know. Maybe I'm actually trying to find an article on that and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. Mark Zuckerberg has sold 296 million worth of Facebook shares in August, which is 125,600 shares. How Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg earned 296 in 1 month. But why? He's actually a really smart person. Like, this is something that you have to admit. I think it is something that we all have to admit. Like, he's a really fucking smart person. He really is. He has to be. He just has to be. Besides actually having a good board, a good co-founder and whatsoever, he just, I believe it. I just believe it. I don't know. I really believe it also based on the education, I guess. Same with Bill Gates. Also an incredibly intelligent person. And, actually, like, on every picture I'm trying to maybe show you, like, on some pictures he's clearly, like, having, like, a suit or something. And it is fine. I do not want to talk about it, like, it being negative, but I don't know. I'm trying to find an article. I'm trying to find better words for it for tomorrow's video. And, yeah. Thank you very much for listening. It's been actually a little bit of a longer episode than I thought it would be. And I see you the next time. Thank you very much. And please stay cool. Please stay happy. And please stay the person that is making other people happy as well. But also think about your legacy. So I wish you the best health, wellness, and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you gonna be remembered, which means your legacy, because we totally have it in our control, even though I really have to say that even though you might be the nicest and happiest and whatever person on this fucking planet, still there's gonna be someone that hates you. It is what it is. Like, I think it's just gonna be the case. I think it is just way too much people on this planet that it would not be the case. No matter how nice you are, no matter how whatever you are, still there are gonna be people that hate you. Really, literally hate you, I guess. But yeah. Also think about your purpose in life. What are you trying to change? What bothers you the most? And what are you trying to do on this planet? We decide, and you decide. It is actually a pretty great question to think about. But I'll see you the next time. Thanks a lot again from really the bottom of my heart. Really, really, really. And I'll see you. And check out the podcast and subscribe if you haven't. I do not give a fuck about notification shit, but subscribe. Thanks a lot.